Okay, let's look at the first line of our article. It's a scenario. So we are talking about Shia and Roxy today.
Our two favorite time-traveling friends.
And let's find out where they are. It says Shia and Roxy are at home. Good place to be.
That is a good place to be. Roxy is the first one to speak in our little scenario, our dialogue here. And Roxy says, I want to go back to kindergarten.
Yeah.
Really? Want to go back to kindergarten?
Yeah, kindergarten's, it's fun. You play games and stuff. Roxy wants to go back to kindergarten. Kindergarten is a noun. It's spelled Kindergarten. Kindergarten. Kindergarten is a school that young children, aged 2 to 5, can go to before they start elementary school. At kindergarten, the children will learn the basics of colors, numbers, and the alphabet. There are lots of fun activities like crafts and singing, and a lot of time playing and learning how to make friends with other children. Here's an example sentence. In kindergarten, kids learn simple things and play a lot. In kindergarten, kids learn simple things and play a lot. Oh, so why do you want to go back to kindergarten?
Well, as the article continues, we read Roxy explains why when she says things were easier then.
Of course they were.
As you grow up, sometimes you look at all the problems you have as an older person and you think, oh, when I was a kid, when I was little, all I had to do was color in and do some painting and maybe glue paper together and not kill someone with scissors. Life was easier, life was simpler, life was less complicated back then.
Well, I will say, even as an adult, I still color.
You do still color?
I do. So you don't lose all the fun being your grown-up.
There you go. Good for you.
Okay, well, Shia has a great idea.
What's the idea?
As Shia always does when somebody wants to go back to the past. He says, let's use the time machine.
Why wouldn't they? They have a time machine. So they hop in, they fire it up, they pick a time, and it says they go back to the past, or they go back in time to an earlier day, I guess around when they were in kindergarten.
Yeah.
And that's what they see when they arrive. Roxy says, look, she's very excited. Look, it's our old kindergarten. There she sees the building. I'm sure there are like pictures, maybe cut out colorful butterflies stuck to the windows. Kindergartens have a certain look. You can almost tell from the outside what kind of school or what kind of class it is. What does Shia think of this?
Well, I mean, Shia's got the level head today, actually.
Oh, really? He's the sensible one?
Shia always has the level head, but he's got some sense here. He says, just remember, we shouldn't talk to ourselves. Always a worry when you travel back in time, when you're going somewhere where you were in the past. You don't want to, go up to yourselves and be like, hey, younger self.
That's right. That would be weird, and that's when bad things happen in all the science fiction or time-traveling movies. So Roxy has a good suggestion here, a good idea. Roxy says, we can watch, though. And then Roxy says, look, there we are. Yay! So they can see little Roxy and little Shia there sitting with the other kids. But the idea here is that they're not going to go over and talk or try to play with themselves. They're just going to watch themselves when they were kids in kindergarten. And we have our word power word here, watch. Watch is spelled W-A-T-C-H. Watch, it's a verb. Let's find out more. All right, yes, watch, notice we're using it as a verb. So I'm not talking about a watch, like a noun, like what you wear to tell the time on your wrist. No, to watch is basically to look at or to see. But when we use the word watch, we're talking about looking at or seeing something, but you're more actively really focused on it. It is where all of your attention is in your eyes and what your eyes are seeing. So we watch TV, we watch movies, we might watch a baseball game, or we might watch a car as it drives down the street very quickly. This is something interesting. This is something we're paying attention to. That's why we are watching it. We're not just looking at it. We're not just seeing it, hey, look, there's something over there. No, we're watching it. For example, it rained heavily all day, so we stayed home and watched TV. It rained heavily all day, so we stayed home and watched TV. Maybe we watched a movie too. I don't know.
Okay, so they're on this playground.
Yep.
They're at the kindergarten.
Okay.
There's usually a playground outside of a
course.
kindergarten.
Yep.
And they're watching themselves. They kind of look, what are we doing? And Shia, he kind of looks over there and he says, oh, I recognize all our old friends.
Oh, that must be nice.
So we see this verb recognize here. Now, if you recognize something, you know what it is because you've seen or heard it before. So when Shia says he recognizes their old friends, it's because he remembers them. He has met them before. He knows who they are.
Absolutely. And then Shia is also, continuing to talk here and says, I'm playing on the swings with Robbie. All right, so he sees his friend Robbie. He can tell who Robbie is. He remembers this. It was only a few years ago. And what are they doing, he and his friend Robbie? They are playing on the swings. One of my favorite things to do.
That's one of my favorites as well.
I still like going on the swings. It's been a while, but swings are great.
There aren't many swings in Taiwan, I've found.
True.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
I don't know.
Maybe they're considered dangerous these days, because swings can be dangerous. If you're on a swing, be careful. But first, let's spell the word swing. S-W-I-N-G. Swing. Let's swing into our little definition right now. You get it? Swing. Okay, now swing, as we're talking about it now, is a noun, but we can also use it as a verb. But when we're using it as a verb, we're just using the swing. What is a swing? It's a seat or some kind of chair that you sit in, but unusually it hangs from a bar by ropes or chains, right? There's nothing attaching you to the floor. It's attaching you above to a bar over your head, something very strong to hang from. And then using your body's weight, you sort of lean forward and back, and slowly the swing will start to swing. This motion is called swinging, like sometimes clocks have something that swing at the bottom to keep the time very accurate. Well, in the same way, the weight of your body will swing back and forth on the swing, and as you swing higher and higher, you go faster and faster, and ooh, it's so exciting. But be careful, don't fall off the swing. You could crack your head, and that would be no fun. For example, Michelle asked her dad to push her higher on the swing. Michelle asked her dad to push her higher on the swing by saying something like, "Higher, Daddy, push me higher." Did you used to ask your dad or mom to push you higher?
Of course.
It was fun, wasn't it?
Yeah. I remember when I was young, actually, we had, at an amusement park, there was a machine that had lots of different swings.
Whoa.
And then all of the swings would go around at once. It was like 50 people just sitting in swings.
I did that near Taichung a few years ago. Good fun. A little scary, a little scarier than the swing at the school playground, but still lots of fun.
Lots of fun. Okay, well, we know what Shia is doing. He's playing on the swings. What is Roxy doing? She says, and I'm playing catch with Denise and Nora. Okay, so we used the word catch here, which is usually a verb. We used it as a noun in the sentence. Okay, but here, catch is actually the name of a game where people throw a ball, often a baseball or some sort of ball that's kind of a bit smaller.
Tennis ball, maybe.
Yep, back and forth to each other, and you have to catch it when
That's it.
someone throws it. It's actually one of the simplest games you can play.
That's right, but if you're, a young kid, it's good practice. If you like baseball, this is how a lot of baseball players will warm up. Shia then asks, are you still friends with them? Looking at their friends when they were young, are you still friends with them? Meaning, are you friends with them now in their older selves?
Right.
Still, here it's an adverb, S-T-I-L-L. Let's find out more. Yeah, still is an adverb that we use when an action is continuing on. It hasn't stopped, all right? So if it started raining a while ago and you look outside, you go, oh no, it's still raining. The rain has continued. It hasn't stopped. The action is going on. Or maybe the action still hasn't happened yet. Then we might use it in the negative. It still hasn't started to rain. That means it's still dry outside. For example, Justin is still out. He will be home at 8:30 p.m. Justin is still out. He will be home at 8:30 p.m. So just before we started talking about playing catch, Shia wanted to know if Roxy is still friends with these little kids.
Right,
now
Denise
that they're,
and Nora.
Yeah, now that they're older.
Okay, well, let's find out what let's find out what Shia continues to say here. He says, I still hang out with Robbie.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, he's playing with Robbie at the kindergarten.
Swings,
now,
right.
like, even a few years later,
Yep.
he still kind of plays with Robbie.
They continue to be friends. And what about Roxy and her friends?
Well, Roxy says, yes, we still spend time together.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
nice.
Okay, well, Shia, he's a little confused. He says, wait a minute. So they kind of stop talking here for a second.
He must have seen something that catches his attention.
Right. That's why you say, wait a minute. You want to find out more about what you saw.
This is important, yeah.
Who's that other girl? She's playing catch with you too.
Oh, a girl that maybe they don't recognize.
Yeah.
And Roxy looks very carefully and says, she's thinking. And then she suddenly exclaims, oh, I know, it's Alicia. So she sees her friend Alicia. Maybe she's not so friendly with Alicia now, she almost forgot her.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't know who she is right away, she's not really up there in the memory.
Exactly.
All right, well, let's find out what happens. We've got a scenario here to finish off our article for today. We don't get to find out who Alicia is quite yet. Here it says in the scenario, Roxy and Shia keep watching the kids. Must be fun watching your old self play.
Absolutely.
Probably a little embarrassing too.
A little bit embarrassing. And almost as much fun as our magic box. And that's where we're going to go right now before we come back for a quick review.
Okay.